Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of our High Level Masterclass, where we bring in users of High Level from our community that are using our features and helping their customers and their teams be efficient, but also grow their business. Look, these masterclasses, we get time over time compliments over what people have learned and what they implement. So, my ask of you today, if you're going to tune in, make sure you comment below, engage with us, and take action. Take one item and take action on it. Help me welcome in the comments below our special guest today, Rob Eason. He's a very familiar face. He was on one of our spotlight sessions, and now he's joining us here to educate us on the benefits of using the AI employee. Rob, welcome. Super excited to have you and for us to unpack what we're going to go through. How are you, man?
I'm great, man. It's a blessing to be here. Very, very grateful for the first time you reached out to me, and it's been quite a journey since then. And now I really get to show everything that I've prepared for the community since then. So I couldn't be more excited.
I love it, man. Well, this is perfect timing because as we get into this new season, the AI employee, there's many success stories around it. And now you, the viewer, gets a chance to look at it from a different perspective and implement it maybe in a different way than you're doing it now. Rob has put together a master class to give you what you need to take action. The title of our master class is Supercharge Your AI Employee. And Rob's going to be discussing here the benefits of setting up the AI web chat for clients, benefits of setting up the inbound voice AI for clients, as well as setting up the outbound nurture to generate appointments for your clients. We're going to cover those three pillars in detail, but also what you learn to do for your clients, you got to do for yourself. So, Rob, could you tell us a little bit about what you have lined up for us? I know you got a handful of slides, a lot of tactical.
hmm
I'm going to throw the microphone and the screen over to you. And while you're setting things up, I'm going to have our guests now share where they're tuning in from. Comment below where you're tuning in from and let us know what you want to learn from this session. Rob, what do you got?
All right. So I'll go ahead and pull it up. But basically, I've got my technique for how we get clients and make them sticky, and it revolves around the AI employee. The AI employee just has so many features that eliminate so much pressure off the business that it is your stickiest entry point, and it's brand new in the space. So after doing this so many times with hundreds of clients, we know the best way to put your best foot forward so that you can set up quickly and stay there. So I've learned a lot in my journey over the past few years, and I'm gonna share some stories about failures that we had along the way that led us to knowing this is the right way to implement when it comes to putting your AI employee in place. And these are the three main components. We're gonna set up AI inbound voice. That's a really easy, quick thing to set up. And when you do it, you can complement it with an outreach campaign, and those two together make a huge impact on the business and also one that lasts. And then we also do the web chat setup. That gives you some instant proof of what you've done. That's really important for that business owner in the front end as well. And so I'm going to talk about the strategies around this, kind of the need in the market. And then we're going to get technical. And I'm going to show you basically a snapshot that I've prepared. It's a blueprint of all your automations if you don't know what a snapshot is. And it lets you set up everything that I've been building over the past 5 years in minutes. And so I'm going to go on to the next slide here. Basically, I'm going to cover what makes it easy for you right here in the beginning so you know what we're getting to. This is not a course that's going to cost 15,000 like my high ticket offer does when I replace call centers. This is going to be something that can help anyone get started to automate their business or to add some new features into their agency. You get a 30-day trial of High Level, which should be more than enough to get your first clients, or if you're migrating software, save more than what it costs. You get my SaaS snapshot. So you're going to get, there's 1,000 templates of snapshots in the marketplace and in the Go High Level system. They're not all set up around AI, kind of leading the show. And so mine, I've been developing to be fully AI focused for years. And we've got some things that make it really easy to customize it to any niche. You also get a full setup course. So we've got 50 lessons, and then it covers in detail every single aspect of what you could need to set up your agency. We have 2 weekly group coaching sessions. I'll get into more of that later. You get support from my team and High Level's team when you start your own agency. So it gives a lot of additional support, especially when it comes to AI focus. And then just running a business focused on AI employee. That's what I've been doing for 2 years is AI implementation for businesses. So some definitely some very useful information for anyone looking to do that.
It
And you
sounds
get
it
go
sounds
ahead.
like you're giving away everything, because you know it works, but more importantly, you want to help people. And we spoke about this
Hmm.
offline. Your passion for helping people, your humble beginnings, and I know you're going to get into a little bit about your journey and why you went the AI route and why not lead gen, why done for
Hmm.
you, why not all these different elements. I know you're going to unpack this throughout your presentation, but I want to just frame this for our audience, right? There are many features out there. There are many benefits of high level. There are many different people that have different skill sets, expertise. What
Hmm.
you'll learn here with Rob is being in the right circle gets you the right knowledge. So if this is
Hmm.
your first workshop or you're very new to high level as a whole, you're at a great starting point. And we have a YouTube channel full of content to help you out. But Rob, the biggest question is for those that are not super techy, can this be something that they can take on and take charge with?
100%, thankfully. I'd say, and I'm going to cover this a little bit later on, but it wasn't the case when these softwares first came out that it could be done easily. When you had to integrate other softwares or it couldn't all be done in one place, this kind of stuff would take more than 10 hours to set up. Now that High Level's brought it all in-house, it's something that can be done by anybody. And everything I'm going to show you here can be set up in 15 minutes, as can most of the systems in High Level, especially if you have a good snapshot that's put together by a team that has developed one that's unified for all the AI features. And that's what we've done. So I've taken all my pain over the past 2 years and I've made something that, yes, can be done by anybody finally, easily. You get and the other two things, you get an onboarding with my team. And then speaking of a community, we've got a 7,500 member community in the Go High Level, Go Collab market, community app. It's been up for a year. I started in there right when Go Collab first came out. And so you have access to all the other members, affiliates, basically everybody who's working on these specific features in High Level. Um, and so AI is just a huge need right now, and business owners, they need somebody to do it, even though they could do it, they just don't have the time. There are 65% of organizations already using generative AI in at least one business function, and that's doubling from the previous year. So you can imagine how many businesses know that they need to do this, that they need somebody to help them. And it doesn't take somebody that's been working the system for years like I have to do it. We're going to show you some screenshots later on that just show you just how easy it is to go in and make those changes and set everything up in the first place. Um, So I'll give you guys a little bit of background on me, and then we'll kind of get into why this opportunity is the best opportunity to get into high level in the past few years. Um, about 10 years ago, I was in college, and I quickly realized that I wasn't interested in the things I'd chosen to study and made some really bad decisions and ended up doing 3 years in prison. So during that time, I decided to turn my life around and take control of my story. And high level ended up being a huge part of my ability to take control and have the story that I wanted to have. I got out and went into sales, but inside I read a lot, I got fit, and I got a lot of experience working the kinds of jobs that I didn't want to have to work. Working in factories and sanitation and chicken plants and all sorts of things. But when I finally got out, I started working for a digital marketing firm. And in my second month, I was number one in one of the biggest digital marketing firms in the world. You can see all my accolades there. The first deal I closed was the biggest one in channel history. And then I quit the next day after I broke the all-time sales record. That was like a couple years later, to start my solar company and building all of my businesses inside high level, since way back in, it's got to be 2019 or so, gave me a really good foundation for being able to teach you guys what, the best places to start and using this in practical applications. So in earlier this year, we got an award from Forbes, which was awesome. And my funding company actually ended up being the biggest one. I started it with my partner from the call center. So my best friend eventually quit his job at the call center and came to work with me on a funding business, and that became the largest one that I recently sold to go all in on AI. And I'll tell you guys a little bit more about that in a second. But we had 2,000 active subscriptions, 60 employees in credit on top of the 20 I had in solar, and we're doing about 50K per month in ad spend. So this is our team in the Philippines, 21 others viewing, and this is me in Cairo with the call center in Cairo. Running call centers and coming from inside sales. And then the next part of the story I'm about to tell you gave me a really special gift of being able to help people implement appointment setting systems for with AI. And you're going to get to see a little bit more about that here soon. So about 3 years ago, I started implementing AI systems in the high level. I used GPT-4 to teach me how to code and created an app for the high level marketplace. You can see there. And then I started using it to integrate and replace appointment setters in my business. So that team got a big lift from AI. And recently, the tools that we're using on high level are functioning better than anything ever was, and they're much easier to set up. So this is me learning how to code, in the very beginning days 2 years ago. While I was doing all that and finding my passion, for me, work was pretty much just hard work up until the point when I fell in love with high level and learned to code, and then it became something that was extremely enjoyable to me. And while I got to build these things, I got to travel the country, meet awesome people, and do things that I never would have been able to do. We had I want to say this was a 17 or 4,200 square foot penthouse in Miami. We had a great time in LA. My next door neighbor was OT Genesis. And then this is me on the balcony at the penthouse in Miami. Now I'm back here in Charlotte with family, but I had a great time traveling the country. But I also got my priorities straight. And now I'm really focused on the community and being around family and just providing what I can to the rest of the world. And I talked a little bit about this, but when I first started using AI tools, it was a million different ones and they were barely functional. This was, starting 3 years ago and then heating up when I started coding. But the big shift in my business happened when I realized that if you just stick to what Go High Level does naturally, it's providing so much more value just in its core software that you actually take away from the value when you try to add in things. You involve too much setup and too much complication, which doesn't go well with business owners. They want things to be very seamless these days. So local business owners are not begging for fancy features. They just want fast, noticeable improvements with minimal hassle. And so a simpler setup is going to mean happier clients and less stress for you.
And Rob, you
Every
you hit on the dot where you said customers want seamless.
mm-hmm.
And sometimes when we get super techy, we get super passionate. And
Yeah,
I see this in my own experiences, but also
it's
meeting,
bad with
high
me.
levelers of everybody. We just immerse ourselves, and that is the commitment that no one can fabricate. Like you are either
Yeah,
all in or you're just trying to wonder what's going on.
that's
And
exactly right.
this seamlessness, you touched on take it for what you have and what it is. Look, let's just put this example out there for some clarification to those that might learn about high level and then say, well, I could also incorporate this and that and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
Although they may be AI as well and they may complement things beautifully, could you talk about what you learn in that learning curve of just stick with
Yeah,
what we have and build upon it?
I'd say that was the biggest mistake I made starting my agency. I fell in love with the sizzle of AI voice before it was ready. And in the beginning, that was the main thing I was trying to do when I started my digital marketing agency. And so I came from running this in my businesses. I didn't, I'd gone through the struggle of finding the right offer in other industries. And there's a lot of parallels to what happened in this business. But just to give a simple illustration, one of the most impressive things you can show a business owner these days is that they can go into just one conversation view and all the conversations are in one place, no matter which email they emailed, which phone they texted, and you can reply with whichever one you want all in one view. Just that is something business owners don't have. And that's the very most basic, but still wonderful aspect of high level, just having a unified inbox. And so it's these simple features that I've actually found getting me more clients. I still run paid ads and email. And when I shifted to focusing just a little hint of AI and but talking about, hey, I know you have 15 different softwares you're using to run this business. That's when I actually started finding a wider pool of clients. There's a very small pool of people who are just looking for AI voice, and they're very picky, they're very seasoned, they kind of know their stuff to a degree, a little more than a lot of others. But if you go for the business owners who are struggling because they're using two different apps to send text messages to their clients and they're still taking client texts on their cell phone, these are actually the majority. And there's a much bigger pool of them, and they need help. They actually need your help. And I finally saw that my lead cost is a good indicator of what the market's like. When I was doing just AI voice, I was getting $30 leads. Cost per acquisition would go between, $1,500, $2,500. And the clients were hard to please. And I was trying to do something way too complex for what they really needed. They really needed just nurture flows. They really just needed to email their clients. They really just needed some basics. And because I sold them on the sizzle, I just set us all up. I set myself up for way more work. I set them up for, in my mind, I'm like, oh, of course, this new technology is going to be glitches. You guys should expect that, but they don't. And they don't. And it was painful because I really care about my clients and I was trying so hard. But at the end of the day, like you said, a lot of us get into the passion of it and we're very passionate, but we forget that it's the results that really matter at the end of the day. And it's a smooth system. So I've seen my business transform over the past month, maybe month and a half, as I fully realized this. And the impact of that realization has trickled down into all my marketing and, our processes. And now I can get clients easily, keep them with a fraction of the work that I was doing. And so I went pretty deep on that, but that's I feel pretty strongly about that message.
Yeah.
And I think that that's one of the most impactful things that I can say to people that are looking to get into this space.
How can we anchor from your experiences? Because I think that's where, as an audience, you know, it resonates. It makes sense with what you're
Mm-hmm,
sharing. The next step is the action. Is how do
mm-hmm.
what path do I go? Do I go left? Do I go right? Do I do eeny, meeny, miny, mo? Right. So I know you
Well,
have the
yeah.
answers for us. I know you have the strategy. Um, I'm excited to unpack this. If you're as excited as I am and you're in the audience here, comment below. Let's unpack this. Let's unpack this. And if you have questions, type in Q in your question. So we want to know what you know. We're all ears.
Well, it's a perfect segue to my next slide, which is high level AI with a focus on software consolidation. I lead with my headline of like, let's get a AI inbound line set up for you. I can deliver a quick win there. And then I set up some, a few different systems that I can do in a short period of time. But in my ongoing marketing, high level drops new features that replace other softwares all the time. You get a list of people who are interested in high level and you can just drip them new updates of new ways they can save on software, and it never stops. It's an endless way that you can continue to market and then continue to upsell them. I've got of course recommendations on how I do my pricing, but in general I like the low monthly recurring, and then you can say, hey, let's set up and manage your documents for you, and you can add on a little bit more and add on a little bit more. And as you go through that experience, you'll kind of know what you can charge. You may be able to charge more for certain things. But that's my overall strategy, and it works so much better. All the leads that came in for AI voice, hundreds of thousands of dollars over the past year, I guess what? I didn't really convert them on the first pass. But once I started properly helping them understand Go High Level's abilities and sending emails back to them, just dripping new features, talking about consolidation, guess what? That pipeline blew up after a year of those leads being dead. And so
So,
there's just so much power. Go ahead, Jibby.
Rob, help me understand this here because you got some bells ringing in my brain here right now,
Mm-hmm.
and I have some ideas, and I know that they're not unique. I know that this is being used by somebody out there. So hopefully
Mm-hmm.
I'm not out of my mind here. But there's program software strategies of finding people that adopt new technology, that
Hmm.
technology they install on their website. Then there's scrapers and web
Yeah.
crawlers that grab it. What I'm understanding here, and feel free to confirm or guide us a bit, is that you're leveraging that data that's out
Hmm.
there publicly shared, and you're leading
Hmm.
with education, pivoting with authority, and then collaborating as they start to engage.
That's exactly right.
Okay. So to our
We
audience, this is where I need you to take some notes here, because I feel like this is where Rob is going to really give you that aha moment. Lead with education, right? You leveraging tools that help you find out new technology and then build upon your authority. Rob, unpack that with us here, man, and I'm all ears.
Yeah. So I'm a Go High Level certified admin, which is a really great headline opener. It's not necessary, but the more credibility you can give yourself with high level, the more you can leverage their brand. And they have a big brand at this point. Now more than ever, they're at a critical mass where people have heard about them long enough. And I'd say maybe 3 years ago, people were skeptical, but that's really going away. It's emerging as the best solution, and I help people switch over from other softwares every day. I drop a video on how to migrate a popular software over to high level once or twice a week. And those build the organic traffic from those softwares to help them migrate over. But even aside from the organic stuff I do, JB was right on point. I get data. There's a million different data providers that we can help you connect with inside our community. And you can get an owner's email address and phone number for for about half a cent. And that's just regular business data targeted to a certain industry. And I can tell you which ones are the best ones for this type of software. And there's also trigger data where I can see that somebody was looking up Keep or looking up a competitor. And so just with all the features high level has and all the big softwares it replaces, there's a million different pockets, and you can dive into that all day and then keep diving back into that same list over and over as you build it. And you end up with a calendar full of appointments. And I can't wait to tell you how that looks. And I may have kind of covered some of this stuff in previous calls, but once I switched over to having this approach, and also I made myself more available to my clients, and I just had such a huge turnaround a couple months ago. Um, I do live webinars, and I have clients come on almost every time one of them pops on there, and then voluntarily just like makes me feel the way I need to feel about how hard I work. And it's so much different from when I was working that hard and trying to overcomplicate things. I realized that I was just speaking to myself instead of speaking to the client when I was doing my marketing. And that made a huge change. It's just that's simple enough. Um, and I'll get into a little bit about our strategy here. And so this is an example of an email that I sent out. And I do a cold email that's simple like this. Even if you come into my community, we actually provide all my email templates, and I even have a program where I just give you guys my email every day, and you can kind of start to understand my strategy. I've got a 2 hour recording I did this last Saturday where I go through this routine, and I'll get into it a little more. But it is email based, it is data based. I walk you through the whole thing in the video. Um, I start with a simple email like this, and then I switch to more like templated emails that are providing all the updates, a deep dive on a high level feature, what my training is about that week, etc. And that brings people in. And I am able to just give those to you guys because this is such a huge market. There's really no limit to how many places these templates can be used. And so it gives you a really good quick start. And I can help you get the data as well, or I can tell you where to get it from. So we start with inbound voice. We do that because it still does have a little bit of that sizzle factor, that new factor, and gets people interested. But as you can see, I'm already mentioning it can also allow you to replace other 42 softwares. We've got a 10K automation checklist that has all 42 types of softwares, and then the major softwares within those categories, average price. It's a lot like a graphic Go High Level has that we've expanded, and you can get that as an asset when you register as well for the community. The reason we do outbound reactivation and web chat later, inbound voice could have a big impact for a lot of businesses if they get a lot of call volume. but there are going to be business owners that they catch most of their calls or call them back pretty well. And having a reactivation to throw in there along with it helps it be more than just like a feature they don't really need. It's like, okay, well, this is going to be cool and it's going to make me a bunch of money real quick. And these reactivation campaigns do. Um, we have a pretty much like SMS reactivation campaigns. What I see when you run them is you get appointments for $2 to $4. And then if they have a big list, a big client, this is a great way to impress them right out the gate. Um, you'll find companies that have thousands and thousands of old clients, especially like home service companies like that. It's a huge opportunity. And so we do the AI voice, and that's kind of what I pitch them on. And then it really doesn't take much more than another 20 minutes to set up web chat. And then um, the reason we do that is because it gives them like an instant way to see it working. The SMS approval takes a week or two. And so being able to know how to set up web chat gives you just like on that onboarding call with the client, that wow factor. Here's the voice, here's your AI, your text will be ready in 2 weeks. And you can start email reactivation in that time too.
Rob, what
And
does
I'll
that
dive in.
pitch? What does that pitch sound like? And I know that
Mm-hmm.
I know that our pitch has a lot to do with our experience, our knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
our swagger, our passion, our customer
Right.
stories. I understand all of that, and I want our audience to understand that there's no one secret sauce pitch that's going to
Yeah.
work. But could you just share with us here, for someone that's getting started with high level, zero customers on deck to get their first customer, what does a talk track sound like? So they could use it as a
Mm-hmm.
starting point of what winning looks like.
Sure. And this can be on, based off of an email conversation or phone. But in general, the first thing I'm gonna start out by is talking about, what have they heard about high level, and then what softwares were they thinking it could replace. So really just asking the right questions.
And if I could just
And
unpack this with you as we go along with it. Um, so you're leading with high level. You're not leading,
mm-hmm,
or are you leading with high level, or are you also leading with your gray label, your white label? At what
100% high
point do
level.
you go high level mass market and then you leverage your authority? Could you include that as you're
Mm-hmm.
explaining, please?
Yes, I could. I think that at this point, with the way people just have heard of high level, that you could even hurt yourself by not saying it in the first place. And I think you do help yourself by saying it. I think people like transparency. I'm a very transparent guy, as you guys know. And I think people want that. And most people have seen it. So I like to tell them what it is. And then I lead with that, because them you getting that brand recognition beside your brand and your name is actually a really, really good thing. Especially if you've gone through and gotten that certification, which you can knock out in a weekend if you feel like it. Um, so I lead with high level. I think that as it's getting more and more popular and catching market share, and they're doing so much more promotion, you are going to hurt yourself by not piggybacking off of that. It's like everybody wants to know what it is at this point. They're looking for an expert to help them. They all know that they want an expert to help them. Like when I have these conversations with business owners, 99% of them say I tried it one time, the guy didn't give me good support or something like that. And they know what it is. They want to get into it. They know it can help them. They already know this stuff about it, but they just don't have the right person to help them use it. And I'm not kidding when you know, I mentioned high level in these email subject lines because that's what they're going to click, and there's a good chance that they already opted into something about high level in the past. And so they're like, it makes it an easy memory trigger to get them to start that conversation with you, much more than you just being a random marketer, I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, that's one strategy, and I appreciate you sharing it because sometimes that could be the foot in the door, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just if you're techie, if you're in the audience now and you're techie, go ahead and let us know in the comments if you're very immersed in the tech, you embrace it, you're very familiar with high level, or you're looking at the features that I can grasp this really quick. And if you're not techie and you're more business relationships, sales driven, let me know in the comments as well. For those that are sales driven, Rob, how do they
Mm-hmm.
leverage this sizzle and this
Mm-hmm.
strategy if they don't know how to do it themselves hands on?
Um, well, we've got a coaching session for sales and marketing strategy, and all of our scripts are available inside the community for one thing. and we can help you kind of figure out exactly how to lead your offer if you want to do it a little differently.
Before
But
before you got started, before you are where you're at now, how did you learn? Like,
yeah,
how did you get that knowledge? And just think of it like maybe you didn't want to invest, you wanted to kind of go YouTube binge or whatever it is. Could you share how
yeah,
you learned it, and now how you're helping others learn it is I think it's a nice combination.
yeah. I think you start with your pitch. So you take our pitch, our cold call pitch, and memorize it. Even if you're going to focus primarily on email, you want to have the tool in front of you. You want to have the knowledge to back you when you need to use it. When I started at web.com, as you guys know, I was at a turnaround moment in my life. I didn't think I wasn't very good at sales. My dad later told me he didn't think I was going to get the job. I didn't get the job at the first place I applied. So I made sure that I was more prepared than everybody else at the job I did get, which was web.com, a giant company. And when I started there, I memorized the whole script. It was only a page or two. You can memorize that in 2 hours. I kid you not. If you take it and write on another piece of paper and then cover it up until you can't remember, and then look and cover it back up and keep going. If you do it like that, you'll have it memorized in a couple hours. So I came in knowing the whole script, which is just the simple product pitch. And we have one for this product. You start with that. So it's already in your brain. And then that's going to help you start learning everything else much faster. While everybody else is struggling to handle the basic conversation, you're able to think a level back about your tonality, you know, and when you're just living your day-to-day life, you're connecting it to other things and learning what all these features do it much, much more quickly. So from a technical perspective, if you're not skilled, I had no experience in digital marketing, but I memorized the script before the first day, and I was number one in my second month. The other things you can do is make it your responsibility to niche down and understand everything about how one type of company uses the software. I started with focusing on real estate agents and then later attorneys, but I went niche by niche and I learned how to speak their language. I learned how each of these tools related to that specific business, and I stayed in one lane. I picked ones that nobody else would pick because that meant that they hadn't been spoken to. Nobody wanted to talk to attorneys, but I knew that they had a lot of money. And so I got really good at one niche and was able to understand how each of them used software in their business by just speaking to a lot of them. And over time, that knowledge extrapolated to other industries, and you get here one day. But if you know your pitch and you spend some time going through some basics, you just have to put in that time to understand how to handle the conversation, and you can pretty much ride off that from there. I would never say wait until you know everything to start. It's almost essential that you start selling before you know what you're talking about. I would say that for sure. Um, and we give you the crutches you need to do that and the training wheels.
I like that, man. Thank you for sharing. That's the sauce, man. And we want, when we join these master classes, this is, maybe that one nugget that we just run out. I know, if we lose
Mm-hmm.
some viewership, people are taking action. And if you're just tuning in, you got to watch it from the beginning. You got to watch this from the beginning, but stick with us now. We're about to unpack the streamlined and scalability process that Rob has introduced early on. Rob,
Mm-hmm.
we're at that cusp of time where
Mm-hmm.
it's now about um, implementing, building
Mm-hmm.
relationships, and then nurturing it. And that's doing a lot, and you get a result from that financially, trust, referrals. I
Mm-hmm.
know you got a handful of more slides that you're going to go in depth on this. So I'm gonna sit tight here as we start to absorb and take on this knowledge.
Sounds good. I'm going to try to get to more of the implementation stuff. I actually already covered a lot of what I have in this next slide. But
Okay.
when I switched to keeping it simple and selling at go high level, you can see the dramatic change in my revenue. And it wasn't the first time I went through that experience, but I went through that struggle of figuring out the right offer to be a go high level marketing agency. Um, and it was just finding the right angle and finding a way to provide it to clients in a non-glitchy, easy setup way. Um, pretty much already covered this. I've been through the hard stuff and I've got the blueprint for you to use it. And we talked a lot about how local business owners, they know what Go High Level is. They know it can help them. They don't have somebody to help them. So we start with a free setup offer, and this is really going to get into the details of point one implementation. And then when I get to the nurture, which is the second module, that's where I talk about how we actually find those clients and connect with them and start the relationship a little more. Because we're going to give you a couple ways to get started. And I think email is one of the best ones, and that relates directly to nurture. So we'll talk when we get there about that. Setting up the AI voice, it's literally a 3-step thing right here. There's one workflow you turn on that gives it some special abilities I'll touch on. That's really the secret sauce I've gained from years of messing with this stuff. And then in general, you go in here, you type the name in, you type the business name, it's going to generate the prompt. It's a click of a few buttons. And so this is just a view of how easy it is. And when you offer something free that takes 15 minutes, it'll cost me, I mentioned this, $2,500, sometimes $2,000 to get a client. If you're pitching the wrong product, it's way cheaper this way. If you use cold email, you can get somebody interested if you're offering a free service for dollars. And then you just put in an hour of work total and you got it set up. So this is me starting to talk about how we generate clients in the first 30 days with that offer of the free AI inbound line. You guys already saw one of my example emails of that, and we have all those templates available to you. But the way to start off is just to simply make some posts inside of Facebook groups, your personal Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all the above, and just tell them, hey, I'm doing free AI inbound line setups. Does anybody want me to help them? Something simple like that. You can make it a little better than that using ChatGPT, but it's really not complex. A simple post like that, and then in some Facebook groups can kick you off. I had a client I met from one of my first Facebook groups after I launched my app, and it was still doing AI voice with Go High Level. I made one post, and I met a client last Thanksgiving who, in that one client, paid me $50K in done for you build outs by halfway through this year. And so you can get some powerful big wins if you get out there, and there's just a huge need and not enough people to do it. That was like, hundreds and hundreds of hours of work we did for him. Cold email is my new best friend. I've been a paid ads guy, but it's hard to get started with that. I ran up a bunch of credit card debt doing that. And email is blowing me away. I've been really heavy in it for the past few months. I thought I needed all these third-party tools to run email with High Level. I was totally wrong about that. It was so complicated to get the data, process it, do all this stuff, especially when you're using third-party tools, that I didn't take that much action on it. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to try sending it straight from High Level. And boom, it was actually much easier and it works just fine. As you guys can see, I'm not having any problem getting to inbox. This is the first half of the month of this month. I'm sending a ton of emails every day and I'm getting an excellent open rate. To give you some perspective, sending 1,000 emails costs 60 cents and you're going to send them multiple times. Validating them costs $2.50 with High Level. It's dirt cheap. And so these clicks, when I break down the total math, they cost 50 cents a click, whereas my Facebook ads cost $2 to $3 a click, even when I'm getting good price leads. So it's a great way to leverage what you've got in the beginning. And one of my other favorite parts about it is once you get that data, you've got the contact, it's validated, you can nurture them forever. And trust me, they're going to want High Level soon. I really believe that. And so you just stay in there. If they open your email, it's like an impression on an ad. If they click it, it's a click. You can convert this directly over, and it is far, 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 far cheaper than ads. And it allows you to continually nurture and provide value. Some industries or businesses that might not be the easiest play, but when you have a company like High Level who you can leverage the updates they're dropping all the time, all the work that they're doing, it makes your job easy. And so I just wanted to show you guys the kind of results you can have directly with email through Lead Connector and High Level. You do not need all these third-party services that you're hearing about in ads every day. There's a huge wave of that right now. And then we're going to give you a custom GPT to generate your nurtures. So that's going to come with the community and the trial. And you can just tell it, hey, I want to nurture for this client or for myself. Here's Rob's email copy. Make me one for my service because I don't want to mention high level. Whatever you want to do, it's going to pump out the emails. And then I'll touch really quickly here on another thing that's inside my community. I learned at the High Level Summit, and it's why my emails are working. I do what's called a reputation reset. So in the morning, I send to everybody who opened in the last 30 days. Sometimes I'll tighten up and go to 10 days, and I don't know if it's their spam filter opening it, or what's going on, but leads are coming out of it. And what it looks like to carriers when you get the high open rate and you basically collect all the inboxes that are going to open is you're able to boost that open rate, which tells Google and all the other companies that deal with email reputation or that you've got a good engaging email. And then at night, I blast 5 to 10,000 cold emails, and it works like magic. And the custom GPT kind of takes all the work out of it.
Now you're doing this for yourself, Rob, but what's to
Mm-hmm.
say that you can offer this as an add-on service to your customers, incorporating the voice AI, the SMS AI, all the conversation AI elements? Um, could you just touch on, right, the importance of knowing what you're doing for you first before doing it for others, and
100%.
how that's helped you kind of, take control versus outsource, outsource, outsource?
Right. Emails are a great thing to offer to customers in the first place. And I did not understand how powerful and good they were until the past few months. So it's been honestly, this has been a life-changing thing for my business. And once you do it for yourself, you're going to understand, okay, well, this is how I get data. You're going to start to understand the best ways to do it for yourself, which is going to translate directly to your clients. I've got a video I posted this Saturday morning where I recorded the whole thing. I think it's a 3-hour video. The first session was me showing how I sent one SMS and one SMS to people that had booked or opted in, and an email to everybody that opened in the last 30 days. Saturday morning, sent it at 8, scheduled the second text to go out at 10, and that was it. I sat back, and then you get to see all the work that's coming in to me picking the list, picking the segment in that video. And then I then filmed the webinar that I ran all off registrations just from that Saturday morning launch. It was not planned until I woke up on Saturday morning. And I had 10 people register, and 5 show up and a couple close. And so I give you like exactly the strategy of how I do it. I do it with you guys, on the coaching sessions if you want help. But it's easy once you do it, and it's a pretty simple daily workflow compared to calling all day or having to do something manual like that. So I just send out emails with a calendar link, and if they reply, the AI is there to help handle the response, and it's really, really straightforward. So once you know it for yourself, know how to get data, understand basically just the practice of dropping value, and you'll see on the trainings where I think of what I can provide that's valuable to them today. And instead of me just being like, hey, you interested? Hey, you interested? Hey, you interested all day? I'm actually sitting and thinking about how can I speak to my audience today? These people that are opening your emails, this list is going to be at 10K, quickly. And now you have an audience. You don't have to go and get famous on social media to have an audience that you can speak to. You can send cold email, and those people that have opened it in the last 30 days are your audience. And you can get thousands of people way quicker than social media. You can send 450,000 emails a day straight from Go High Level and Lead Connector at 60 cents a thousand. It's dirt cheap, and you can have a way bigger audience than the influencer And then you speak to them every day, and learning how to practice this is like the art of marketing. And you get to come in here firsthand, understand how to get the data, how to speak to an audience, and then you can help do it for your clients. And AI can help be the one coming up with what to speak after you've got it down. So in the most simple way, you can duplicate it to a client just by setting up an email nurture. And then we also have a lot of automations that completely automate that process. But I think it's important to go through it manually so you understand the art of it. And you can do that in 15 minutes every morning, and then after that, automate it. So once you do that, it's easy to pass on to a client. I know I'm hanging up on that slide a little too much, but I hope you guys got some tidbits. And I definitely already spoke about leveraging High Level's name. JB didn't have to pull it out of me. I was definitely planning on saying that. It's so true.
And to
And
your point,
then,
man, it's like there's so much. There's a line in the sand. Go full white label. Don't mention high level.
mm-hmm,
It's proprietary. I understand that. I'm all for it. I recommend you go. You know, you build a brand, and we have many brands
yeah,
that use high level that you have no idea that they're high level because they've gone
right.
100%
There's a
custom,
good, yeah.
right?
I
But
would
I
I
also
would
like how
say,
you
go.
said, like how you do it, because there's others that do it like that as well, where
Mm-hmm,
we're the mechanics. Like you got a
right.
luxury Lamborghini, Ferrari. Like I'm the certified mechanic that's going to keep this vehicle at its quality and running and give you the luxury
Mm-hmm,
service you need, right? Like there's
yeah,
people with big problems and they have the funding to support it. There's people with big problems that just need the
mm-hmm.
strategy to do it themselves. I like both ways.
Me too. We've got a done for you agency side and we have the do it yourself. But I was wanting to speak to what you were saying about the ability to white label, and this is going to get a little techie, but may excite some of you. All those features Go High Level has, they're connected with automations. And a good time to white label would be when you're providing a service that maybe it's just a really innovative connection you thought of, where you're performing one small thing inside of just a couple systems in high level, and the people never even have to be in high level for that to work. It could be they text a number to ask it for mental health support, for instance, right? And then the AI is going to give them the support they need, and that could operate totally without high level. It's this piece of software you just created, and there's cases where you do it like that. But there's if you really want it to be easy and there to be a huge market of people that need it, I'd say go more broad and don't white label. If you have some genius idea, maybe white label. Um, Hope that gives a little more context around that. Here's a link to a video we have that I did last week, a training on just setting up the AI inbound voice. It's a 15-minute video. I show you step by step how to do it. I'm not even reading the instructions. It's so easy. And you just install our snapshots and follow the simple prompts. Um, here is the one, another small techie thing I'm going to say that we have to make some of the techie stuff more simple for you guys. And so you can have a wow moment with clients. Custom fields create memory for like it associates data with a contact. So it's in a way kind of creating a storage base for knowledge related to that contact. So we basically got a way to picture summary of AI calls and summary of AI conversations over text message into the memory. And we give you just a block of text you can copy and paste into the last step of your setup, of your 15-minute AI voice setup, that's going to then unify the memory between the two. And for those of you that don't need to go that, it's totally unnecessary. But if you want to play with it, you can paste it in there. And that's one of the kind of the entry point to where you'll be able to have a lot of fun with it if you are techie in any degree. But if you're not, it's totally unnecessary. Just a cool little feature you can implement in a few seconds. So this is just another picture of kind of what the prompts look like. If you guys have never seen a voice AI prompt, it looks a lot like a sales script. You pretty much just have what to say, basic guidance, and when there's something that you want to change, it's as easy as whatever you would tell to that employee who was making that mistake, you put it in the prompt. It is not that complicated. We do have a GPT as well. You're going to get access to that you can use to scrape a website or any knowledge base and create the prompts for you. High Level already has an awesome scraper for knowledge base items, which is like how you give it the knowledge of office hours and things like that. And then we add this in to help you with the prompt if you want something a little more custom too. And instant client satisfaction is key. We definitely focus on this and then web chat up front, but we really pitch consolidating software and keep that front of mind for them. Of course, we're going to include our reactivation flow. This is basically the workflow that you drip leads into to send emails and text messages on a regular basis. This gives you a starting blueprint. I have so many variations. I recently just built one based off the new engagement scoring system that will make sure nobody ever opts out and just decreases, text message and goes back to email if they stop engaging. I'll have another video on that later. If you join the community or follow YouTube anywhere, you'll be seeing that come through soon too. But this is our standard reactivation snapshot or workflow. You download it, you turn it on, and basically you just choose the contacts you want to add it to and put them in there. And Of course, we have guidance on that, and you can also set them to be automatically added. So this gives you a good starting point that'll work out the box. And we also include the email campaign. It's not too complicated. And the point of the web chat, I already kind of made this clear to you guys. There can be a little delay with the A2P approval. It could take a couple days, could take a couple weeks. This is a true thing, regardless of any business texting platform you're using. This is not Go High Level. This is the government. And the web chat gives you a quick way to test that with them the same time you test the AI voice, kind of taking all the worries out of their mind. Now they're chilling until the A2P comes through, and then you can run an SMS campaign, and then they're going to be really happy. Duplicate in there. And of course, if they need a website, it's a great point to mention the web chat can also open door to other services. If their website's bad, you can generate one with AI, all in high level. There are thousands of templates, and the funnel AI is going to find one and fill it up with a copy for you. So it's a, less than an hour setup for a website. You can upcharge 100 a month, whatever, however you want to do it, or you can throw it in for free and just wow them. Depends on the client. And I strongly encourage you getting a read on that client to know what kind of upside there could be and then decide based on that. This is a screenshot of the website builder. You can do everything inside high level is the only reason it's showing that. But I have a feeling we're getting a little tight on time.
No, what
Let me
I
see what.
like is I like when you said wow them. Rob,
Mm-hmm.
there's a there's a series of low offer style approaches, high ticket offer style approaches,
Mm-hmm.
different, marketing business models, in person, door to door, referral based, strictly paid
Mm-hmm.
ads. Could you talk about what does it mean today to wow somebody that you want to either have them invest in you or you want to keep them investing in you without coming off desperate,
Mm-hmm.
cheesy, um, or even losing authority or control of the expertise because you're quote unquote too nice.
Right. Um, so first I'll talk high and low ticket. I came from digital marketing selling products around the same price point in web.com and digital marketing firms. And then I was like, oh my God, people are closing high ticket sales. I was like, my buddy just made 30K in a week doing solar. And guess what? I jumped straight to solar. Um, Solar had problems, even though it's still ranked where it is, it had problems because I wasn't in control of the fulfillment. And wowing your customer comes down to controlling the fulfillment. I had an installer that left 30 jobs unfinished. So not only was that huge financial hit, I couldn't do anything about it. They don't owe you until the job's finished, and that might be getting a little bit away too much. It's not too related to any problem you guys are going to be having. But in my credit business, it was another recurring business with low ticket. It was easy to offer a guarantee. It was easy to wow clients. And then I just saw is while I was so focused on the high ticket, the credit business in a year went from 20 30K a month to over six figures. And those clients were sticky. It was money you could count on every month. And if I can say anything, take a play from the big guys. Go high level, knows what they're doing. Most of the big companies in these industries, you'll hear about guys that are, oh, I just, brought on 700 clients at 15K this month. But the big guys, they've got, thousands of clients at low ticket and they stay a long time. Um, and you have control of the fulfillment. You've got a lot of security because you can do everything in here without a person that knows how to code. Um, and so I would just strongly recommend, doing it starting in a comfortable place. That's why my first objective, even for my clients, is like a lot of them already have agencies. Consolidate your software. Now you've got Go High Level paying for itself. You've got a platform that can do everything. And now you've got the time to take this one day at a time. Because if they don't show up one week, you fall out of the loop with them, they're gonna be so mad if they paid you thousands of dollars and it's not even your fault. If you can just keep it low, they're patient and it's easy to impress them. You're going to have way more healthy relationships with your clients, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it comes to the what does the yellow brick road look like, right? Like we consumed a handful of information, we understand the value and the purpose of, leveraging the AI voice inbound, the
Mm-hmm.
chat, SMS, keeping it bare bone, using what you have in front of you. Don't get into the weeds and start purchasing several other subscriptions to build upon it. Could you
Mm-hmm.
share for someone that is tuned in right now? And if this is you, comment below. And if this is not you, share your situation that you would like maybe some clarity on. But for someone that says, all right, I'm ready to go, I'm going to commit to making 25 phone calls. I'm going to commit
Mm-hmm.
to perfecting my pitch, send my emails, make my follow-ups, leverage some of the
Mm-hmm.
high-level prospecting tools. Um, Build upon leaning in and leading with education. They
Mm-hmm.
take the version one of that. Could you share some advice on what that path looks like in the
Yeah.
first, let's say, 14 to 30 days?
So the first start of it is join the community, or and sign up through my affiliate link. You'll get access to the community automatically if you do that, and then you're going to want to come. This is pretty much the same as my step one webinar that I hold live every day. It's got a lot more to it. This one does, but you already have the basics, and so your next step, you go through the high level kickoff call, and then you're going to go to a one-on-one with my team, and they'll help you take it a little bit further. Now, a lot of times I recommend you come to one of the group coaching calls with me first. We've got one on sales and marketing strategy, where if you're not quite sure about which market you want to target, which way you want to pitch, I'll give you clarity. And then when it comes to even just the tools that you're going to use, the strategy on which tools to use, I'll give you clarity. I think calling is great. It's a great way to help get you fluent in the tech, and get you fluent with your customer to understand your customer. But I think if you start with a social post, or a few social posts during the first week, you'll get some clients in the first week from that, and then start cold email. You can have that up and running in a week easy. And I use trigger links in my cold emails, and I don't call people without consent if they, with a unless they're not on the do not call list. So you got to be careful about that. But if you know who's on it and who's not, I use trigger links so I can see who's clicking my emails. So I can send out 10,000 emails in the morning, and I can tell when somebody's gone to my website and looked over 10 pages. I have the engagement scoring set up in a system you guys can copy. So I can filter my list, and I can see these 10 people out of that 10,000 went crazy on my website after I sent them that email. And I can call them right then. And so I say lead with a cold email, and then start, if you have extra time, start rolling it in on the pinpointed dials. And then that strategy is going to get you several clients in the first month. The cold email can take a while to nurture people, but when you have those signals to tell you who's interested, it can help you get traction much more quickly with that same data. Um, it's really powerful. I love it. You have a question?
Yeah, for
Like I'm triggering
someone,
some things.
yeah, trigger. I mean, I'm about to print something out of the printer here and go through 50 questions here. I want to be respectful of right of your time, of keeping our audience not to overwhelm them either. But
Right.
more
Yeah,
importantly,
I do that.
I know that the offer is tied to signing up for the trial,
Hmm.
joining your group, and there's a lot of value there. And I appreciate what you're willing to share. For I'm just going to ask you straight up. For someone that's
Yeah.
skeptical, that's saying, all right, this can't be real. Um, why is he sharing all this? What's the catch? Could you share a little bit around why you're giving what you're giving? And
Yeah.
maybe parts of it can be found on YouTube, right? Maybe what you're saying is not 100% unique or created by you, but you've packaged it in a way that it's easy
Hmm.
to take access, right? Could you just share why you've packaged, why you're presenting it, why lead with education um, to get
I
someone to sign
can.
up for high level?
I can. I love even the easiest, quickest way to start is easy. It's so easy because we have a great product called High Level that has so many features. So it's already got these built-in, ways to nurture easily. And so I do it this way and tell you to mention High Level because the easiest way to come in is to come and start running your own affiliate campaign. And you're going to be a sub affiliate for me if you start through my link. So I get 5%, you get 40% of the recurring. you can literally copy my exact system in 5 minutes, and then be the email system in like 5 minutes, and be sending out an email with me every morning. I'll even close them on the webinar for you, and you get the 40%, and I'll take the 5% because I can handle unlimited people on there. So I've got a system that you can plug into and send emails and start closing as you then pivot it to if you want to change your offer a little bit. The templates that I have, and just because we're all using a platform that is needed by such a huge market, I'm not worried about sharing data. There's literally, thousands and thousands and thousands of businesses. And so to me, it makes sense for me to, teach you guys in a way that benefits all of us. And I can give you the exact blueprint, and it's already a proven offer that works exactly as it is. So it gives you like a copy and paste method that's possible because of Go High Level. And of course, that's totally optional. You can use your email for whatever you want. But if you want the easiest, quick jump in and start, that's got to be it right there.
And I appreciate you sharing that and just being transparent, because that is what comes up. And I'd rather tackle that now, the what's in it for
mhm,
you, because you've gone over the what's in it for them to tune in. We have
mhm,
a handful of action items that we could just take and run with now.
mhm.
You need the high level account if you don't have one already for the snapshot. There's instructions on how to do that that Rob Eason has put together. Rob, people want to take action. What's the next step? And then how do we start to map out what does taking action look like?
Okay. So first week, you're going to want to go to your high level kickoff and come to one of the group coaching sessions, get strategy from me, get some confidence behind, yeah, you understand exactly what I'm saying. And then we're going to meet, that week as well to send your first email. There are some basic systems you'll set up. That's all right here in this AI starter plan setup course. And the snapshot is right in this one. And this unlocks when you start a trial. As soon as you start a trial or even put your information into my funnel, my high level page, you're going to get an email from me with all the instructions you need to keep going if you lose track of anything. And then as soon as you start your trial, you're going to get a text with the booking links for those onboarding calendars I mentioned. We've got, this is just a quick look at the community. As you can see, when I took this screenshot a week ago, it was 7,100, 200 almost. And here we are almost at 7,600 a couple of days later. So you'll come in here for support anytime you need support off a meeting right here. We use Go High Level like Discord. You can leave a comment in the thread. You'll see tons of other people doing the same thing. Come into weekly meetings. You got direct access to the team to the DM feature. And you can join the community right here with this QR code. And so if you had any more questions, like you'll get them answered as long as you join the community. So the least action you should take is scanning this and joining the community. And then for those of you who are ready to actually take action today, it's it's a 30-day trial. It's $97. If you can spend an hour listening to this, you can spend 3 this week setting up these systems and getting your first clients. Look, if you come to my sales coaching and you're like, you know what, this isn't for me, you didn't lose anything. But once you've invested an hour, in my opinion, and there's a free trial on the line to get started and see what it's really about, I don't waste my time, and I hope you don't either. So follow through, and then we're going to give you all the support you need. I don't know that there's many other affiliates where you're going to be able to get that one-on-one coaching and support from the team that we're going to be able to provide to you. And I've got a lot of you guys are going to need the sales training too. And there's a lot of affiliates that don't necessarily have the inside sales chops to be able to coach you there as well. And so I've got you on both sides. And when you come to those group meetings, if you had any hesitation, as soon as you come to the group meeting, you're going to see my done with you clients coming to those meetings. You're going to see other affiliates, and they're going to be having success. It's it's an easy system to set up, and when I have somebody that's motivated on the other side, this tool makes it so easy for them to have success. Um, I can't tell you how much better it feels now that I'm keeping it simple with high level on those meetings and having clients feeling the way that they're feeling. And so I'm very transparent about what's in it for me, and I'm very transparent about why it still makes sense for me to just give you my system and have you copy it. I think that the best way for us to climb together is to take advantage of what Go High Level is already doing, and make it happen quickly that way.
Thank you, Rob. And I think the biggest thing for our audience to recognize here is not everything is evergreen, right? Especially in
Mm-hmm.
tech. Tech evolves, strategies evolve. Maybe they
That's a good
break
point.
off and they come back. So look, don't hoard this information, right?
It
Because
won't do you any good if you hold on to it.
if you're like me in the past, I got more ebooks and I got piles of books, and my intent is to read one or take action on them, but don't overwhelm yourself and don't let this self-doubt get in the way. Taking action on one or two items, jumping in the right rooms and enjoying and listening is key. Look, results will vary. Results will vary. Knowledge consumption is different for everybody. But what we all have in common here is that high level is our tool that we'll be using together. So, Rob, bring us to the finish line here. The comments are on fire. Once you get off here, if you don't mind jumping in there and continuing the conversation,
Absolutely.
we have a link that'll be below as well for you to go ahead and claim your 30-day trial with Rob Eason and take advantage of his bonuses that he's offering here as part of his offer. Rob, I'm ready when you are.
Yeah. The last thing I'll mention for anybody who's, let's say you're already in an agency, you can also get access to everything I've got a couple other ways. You can either activate AI employee. So you go to your agency view, and then season of AI at the top, activate, might put this code in Mass Market AI, one word, and you'll get access to all my stuff the same exact way. But I do need you to send me a screenshot because I don't get a signal about that too quickly. So just send that in the community in the main channel, let everybody see it. And then if you have already done that, but you're not on the fully upgraded plan, I also have another link that you'll find when you go. It's further into the link that you're going to see at the bottom of the screen where you can upgrade your agency. And when you upgrade to the SaaS mode, it gives you even more flexibility to do crazy things with AI because of the API access that you get. So, and trust me, I know a lot about that stuff. So I'd love to help you with wherever you are. I think it's important to start with the basics, but there's definitely benefits to upgrading too. So those are the ways you can get started. I'm really looking to seeing you guys inside the first meetings and helping you guys take your first steps.
Look, y'all heard it directly from Rob Eason, Mass Market AI, one of High Level's affiliates, somebody that enjoys what he does clearly. He's a Go High Level certified admin. Look, these are good business owner friends to have. If you're new in the community, get yourself around like-minded people that you can learn, be motivated by, but also help out in your superpower way. Rob, man, it was a pleasure hanging out with you. Thank you for unpacking. Thank you for just being generous with, just kind of like this is how you go to market, man. Like just take the excuses out of the way approach. And I love the view behind you. We got to get some work done here. If you don't mind, stop sharing your screen. And if you could
No
close
problem.
us out with some closing comments, I think we're ready to get some work done. How about y'all? You comment in the comment below. Let's get work done. Let's get this going. Let me know what you loved about what you learned. Rob, take us home.
Guys, I started in digital marketing 7 years ago with no idea what I was doing. I had no sales skills, and I used it to save my life. Not only did I use it to save my life, I used it to find, joy in what I do and passion behind everything I do. And I can't tell you the gratitude that I have from taking control of my life and choosing to write my story. You guys all have that choice, and I know it for a fact and really believe um, that everybody can do it. And I just wish that I could just have you know how I know that you could do it. And that you could end up finding a passion. There's so many different niches, so many different aspects to this whole thing that you're going to find something you love in there. You just have to get started and put in the hours to get to that point. And so I really look forward to helping you guys find that on the other side.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you all for joining us. Links below to get your trial. Man, let's go. See you guys in
Let's
the
do
next
it.
one.
See you there.